mentioned, last 2 of 3 were wins for the Jackets. 70-plus points in those 3 games. That was the struggle in January for the Jackets. Weren't able to connect on some shots and were scoring in the 60s and 50s. So, good sign for Coach Pastner.
Florida Tech, meanwhile, they've lost 3 straight. They started the season 14-4, but they've lost 6 of their last 8 games. The last 2 were in heartbreaking fashion. And the Florida Tech Panthers from Melbourne, Florida, facing Georgia Tech for the first official time from the Georgia Tech perspective, as this game will count towards their record. Meanwhile, Florida Tech, this is an exhibition in their Division II schedule as Lance Terry misses the floater, and Florida Tech with the basketball for the first time. A look at the Panther starters. A lot of veteran players in this lineup, John. 3 seniors, a grad student, and then a junior. This is an experienced group. They're having a special season, their most wins in over 5 years. And the name to really look out for is Sean Haupt, number 11. He leads the conference in points. And that triple falls, 3-0 Florida Tech early.
Russell with the step back, good-looking shot. This is a team that can score some points, 76 points per game. They're exciting to watch. The Panthers really like to get up and down the court.
And defensively, they lead the Sunshine State Conference in fewest points allowed. Sturdivant with a 3-pointer. That shot has started to heat up for Kyle the last several games. He's averaging 10 points a night over the last 4.
And Jackets lead Sturdivant's leadership. He's a guy who's been there. He's been on the court, started many games in his career, and then really stepped up over the course of the last 5 games.
Ball to Haupt. He feeds it inside. A wrestling battle for it, and Debo Coleman creates the turnover. He's coming off a career-high 21 points. Kelly triggers a 3, and he buries it.
Miles Kelly had 15 in the win against the Hokies and struggled. He was in a scoring slump and off to a fast start with that triple.
Kelly's last 5 games, he's really been shooting the 3 well. He's now 12 for his last 27. Down low, the layup won't fall. Added around, offensive rebound for Niall Harris, and he gets a couple of second chance points.
It's an area where the Jackets playing small of late, with Javon Franklin being the tallest frontman guy at 6'7", so they do give up some size on most nights. The backboard, taking care of the boards is important.
Well, and Franklin, while he might give up a few inches in height, he has been dominant down low. He's had back-to-back double-doubles. He's been Georgia Tech's best player over this last 4 to 5 games.
And averaging a double-double over the last 4 as well.
And Haupt's 3-pointer swatted, gets his own miss and lays it in. Sean Haupt, who began his career at Bradley University, the Division I level, in his 3rd year at Florida Tech, and averaging over 20 points a night.
Haupt really has a nose for the ball. He's savvy basketball player.
Sturdivant's 3 well short, and Sashawn Russell, senior from London, England, one of 8 international players on this Florida Tech roster. We'll tell you more about that a little later on, but Billy Mims, with some international basketball experience, likes to recruit overseas, as that jumper is off the front of the rim.
Coach Mims has it figured out,
yes, he does.
Living in Florida, coaching some hoops, taking some recruiting travel overseas. I'll trade. Sign me up.
He's got a pretty good gig. Franklin faces up. Terry on the drive. He's fouled. Our first whistle of the night. It's going to go against Makai Noble, grad student in his 5th year at Florida Tech. He's the only Panther who's played on this floor, John. That was in a scrimmage before the season began back in November of 2018. He played just 10 minutes, but there were some other notable names in that exhibition. As Lance Terry hits the first free throw, none more so than Jose Alvarado. He had 12 points that night against Florida Tech, and he seems to be doing pretty well right now, isn't he, John?
Pelicans, they got a good one. He's a competitor. You see him on the ESPN highlights all the time. He's having a great career so far with the Pelicans.
And the Rising Stars game MVP last night, hit the game-winning shot.
Free throws will be a stat to watch. The Yellow Jackets, in the win against the Hokies, limited the Hokies to 8 free throw attempts. Yes. Georgia Tech, percentage-wise, didn't shoot the ball well from the line. They were 14 of 26, but getting to the line was important.
2 threes don't go, and now a foul on the floor. It's going to go against Miles Kelly. That's his first. Our officiating crew, by the way, Jerry Heater, Adam Flore, and Jeremy Mosier. Good hands by Franklin. Ooh, quick passing, and they find Makai Noble down low on the weak side entry.
And what a pass by Martin. Brings up the assist.
Terry bounces right. Kick out to Kelly. Pass was off track. And rebound cleared by Makai Noble. And a loose ball. Franklin's on it. 3-on-1. It's going to be Javon from Sturdivant. And Georgia Tech, a 3-point lead.
Javon grabbed the knee coming down from that one.
Beg your pardon, up by 1.
Franklin banged knees on the end of that possession. Looks like he's going to shake it off.
It's taken a lot to get him off the floor lately. He played 36 minutes on Wednesday night in the win over Virginia Tech. The Yellow Jackets scored an ACC season high 77 points. Long top of the key jumper falls for Elias Martin, junior from Green Cove, Florida.
Jackets only played 7 players in their last outing. Coach Pastner used to an 8 or 9 man rotation, so short bench.
And one of those 7s was Jordan Mecca, who played just 6 minutes. Coleman, as we said, a career high on Wednesday, 21 points. Big part of the three-point assault from Georgia Tech. They hit 11 of 22 three-pointers, 8 in the first half. So far today, they're 2 of 4 from long range.
Debo Coleman's a guy that when he gets hot, he can fill it. 2,400 points in his high school ball down in Florida. Storied high school career, 4-star recruit. Good get for Coach Pastner.
Foul in the lane. And that'll send us to break. Florida Tech, 13-10 lead. The Panthers shooting over 50% from the floor. All 5 starters have scored. Back in a moment from McCambus Pavilion on a Saturday afternoon on the Flats. Welcome back to McCambus Pavilion. Florida Tech with a 13-10 lead at our first media timeout alongside John Babel. I'm Wiley Ballard. Happy to have you with us. And I don't know, we're almost as happy as he is. And former Yellow Jackets there on the floor. Jordan Usher, remember that ACC championship team in 2021. And Sylvester Obanda as well, sitting to his right. In fact, Obanda, we are told, currently living with Josh Okogie as Josh plays for the Timberwolves. They were over in Phoenix earlier this month. Sturdivant steps inside the free throw line and hits. So far, Georgia Tech's hit 4 of their 9 shots, but the problem, John, is they haven't been very good on the glass. Rebounding,
-7. Panthers with the 8-1 advantage. And another stat, Georgia Tech was 4 of their 8 field goals in the first 6 minutes from beyond the arc, and I think they got to be careful. Points in the paint, especially early on, could establish flow for the Jackets. 3 offensive rebounds for the Panthers, converted to 6 points, and that's why the Panthers are leading by 1. There you see, replay. Got him on the arm.
So Haupt at the line. Shooting 3, misses the first. Sean Haupt, senior from Danville, Illinois, began his career at Bradley University, and then he transferred to Florida Tech. And beyond Florida Tech being a great school, they kind of consider themselves the STEM University of Florida. They've got 5 astronauts among their alumni. But he, or rather, Sean's father, Ted, and Coach Mims had a relationship. Coach Mims recruited Sean's father in Winthrop back in the 80s when Coach Mims was an associate head coach at Winthrop, and Ted ended up being an all-conference player. So Coach Mims said, well, I'll take his son Sean and see what he can do. And he's been all conference as well in his time at Florida Tech.
Second generation recruiting. Yeah. He's got an advantage. It's the reason he's got 500-plus wins under his belt.
Yeah, he's been
a lot of recruiting
time,
relationships, Coach Mims.
No question.
And Haupt left 2 at the line. He's 88% free throw shooter on the season. You don't see that often.
And Sashawn Russell does not bring it across the floor in time. Or midcourt, I should say. And so Russell called for a 10-second violation. Lance Terry will inbound. And Georgia Tech a chance to tie or take the lead. But so far, John, this is a Panther team. Again, they can score. And they've got a lot of veteran players. You mentioned it. In their starting lineup, they feature 3 seniors, a junior, and a grad student. Played a lot of basketball. Moore missed a 3 on the last possession, this time into the lane, and he's blocked, but also fouled. That one's going to go against Elias Martin.
You know, they can score the basketball, so very dangerous team, average 76 points per game. Georgia Tech, they've struggled this year shooting from the field, 41%, last in the ACC. So scoring is kind of a chess match. Do you want to play fast if you're Coach Passner and try to keep up with these guys, or you just got to win and hang your hat on the defense, which Georgia Tech has been very solid with, especially over the last 5 games.
And you mentioned the pace of play for Florida Tech. You look at the Division II game, and specifically the Sunshine State Conference. As Moore misses the second free throw, but Franklin gets the offensive rebound. He's been so good on the offensive glass. That 3 won't fall. Moore, another offensive board. He can't finish the layup, and now a foul. Going to go on Lance Terry. That's going to be a second. But, John, Florida Tech averaging 77 points a night, but that's 7th out of 11 teams in the Sunshine State Conference. That league as a whole plays extremely fast. In fact, the Panthers allowing 72 points a night, that's the lowest or the best in the Sunshine State Conference. So it's a slightly different brand basketball in that league. Franklin with the swat.
And I'd imagine that's the sell in that league for the head coaches. Trying to get, you're recruiting a heavy junior college field out of Florida. A lot of JUCO recruits coming out of that state. And it seems like they're keeping a lot of them home. And Coach Mims, with his roster, they're from everywhere. It's a global recruiting effort by he and his staff.
You mentioned Franklin banged that knee earlier. And Richard Stewart, trainer for the Yellow Jackets, going to check on him. Rich in his 16th year with the Jackets. 12.5 to play here in the first half. And Kyle Sturdivant disrupting the long lob inbounds.
But not a bad sell if you're recruiting for the Panthers. You got Florida, the warm weather, great academic school, and then you're going to play fast. Everyone likes that. That's the trifecta in recruiting right there. It's a good sell.
It's a pretty tough league as well with Nova Southeastern in there. They're one of the top teams in all of Division II. 8 to shoot. Tough hook, but right there waiting, Elias Martin. He's now got 4 points. And it's a 3-point lead for Florida Tech, right around the 12-minute mark here in the first half.
And 8 of 16 Panther points coming on those second chance opportunities.
Jordan Mecca with the ball. And he tried to lay it off to Miles Kelly. Miles looked away, and that's going to be a turnover for the Yellow Jackets. That's their first, and we'll step aside. Florida Tech shooting 50% from the floor. The Panthers on the road in the ACC. Not deterred. We got a tight one here inside McCamish Pavilion. The Yellow Jackets ahead by 1, and John, each team has been using a different recipe, though, to score offensively.
Yeah, second chance points. Obviously, we spoke about it earlier. Florida Tech, 10 second chance points to Georgia Tech 0. On the other side of things, Georgia Tech's defense turning over the Panthers. 5 turnovers converted to 11 points. They have a +9 advantage on points off turnovers. We're in a tight match. Shooting's about equal, 43-44% from the field. Georgia Tech shooting the ball a little bit better from beyond the arc. 5 of 10 now for the Jackets for 50%.
One similarity, both teams have gotten some pretty balanced scoring. 6 different Yellow Jackets with a made field goal today, and Florida Tech has had 5 different scorers of their own already in the early going.
And that's been the strength of the Jackets. Right now they have 7 assists on 8 made field goals. So unselfish play, moving the basketball, getting good shots.
Again, against just 2 turnovers. Kelly Trying to find some space on Sam Grant, who has checked in for the first time, and a turnover. Grant will give the ball off to John Turgett, getting his first minutes of play this afternoon as well. We've already had 9 lead changes today, John. Florida Tech looking for a 10th. And they got it. Sean Russell, senior from London, England. We mentioned Haupt averaging over 20 points. Russell's averaging over 19 per game this year. He also is second in all of Division II basketball in assists. Coleman's 3 won't fall. Haupt gets the rebound.
And Russell's coming off a 21-point outing on February 15th at Embry-Riddle, so he's been playing well.
Yeah, he and Haupt both dropped 21 that night in a loss. Game they had a chance to tie in the final seconds.
And Russell missed 4 games in early February to an injury, so good to see him back out here contributing.
Shot clock winding down. Franklin with the pick from behind. Another turnover. 3-on-2. Kelly's 3. Way off the mark. It's an air ball. And Florida Tech to lead the basketball, under 6 to play in the first half.
Kelly just put a little bit too much into it. Had the shoulders squared. Everything looked good until the result.
And a foul away from the ball. This might be on Lance Terry. No, it's going to be on Jalon Moore.
10 foul charge to 14. Jalon Moore, his first. 4th team foul.
That's his first. Sophomore from Birmingham, Alabama. He had 7 points and 3 assists in the win on Wednesday night. Entry 3, balls off the side of the backboard. And Terry brings it across for the Yellow Jackets. Franklin faces up on Grant. Jackets have hit 5 threes today. Coleman looking for a 6th. Short. Franklin's got the rebound. The lane clears, and he can't lay it in. Jalon Moore with some bounce ups and 2.
Georgia Tech getting in on the second chance points, using their athleticism. Florida Tech had a good defensive possession going. They switch everything on the perimeter, a good length, switch at least 1 through 4, so they keep offensive players in front of them on those switches, but give up some size when you're switching.
Thompson, transfer from Southeast Missouri State. He turns it over, and Jalon Moore fouled on his way down the floor by Sean Russell.
It's 16 fouls now. Russell, a heady play, stopped the break. I think he knew what was behind him, which was nothing. So high IQ, take one for the team.
And Dara O'Sullivan, the junior from Cork, Ireland. Finished his prep career at the Winchendon School in Massachusetts. And they're saying it's deflected, so no backcourt violation. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Moore driving. And doesn't get the roll, but he will go to the line. That foul on Makai Noble in his second. Moore will have 2 shots. And John, we've talked a couple times about the international flavor of this Florida Tech team as they have another sub checking in. This is going to be Stephen Merritt. Moore makes the first free throw, but they've got 8 international players. They've got 3 from England, 1 from Ireland. Those are easy to explain. Coach Mims coached in the British Basketball League for 9 seasons, won multiple championships. Also spent a year coaching in Ireland for the Neptune Basketball Club way back in the mid-'80s. And they've also got representation from Australia, Turkey, and then 2 players from Greece. All in Melbourne, Florida. They got more players from Europe than they do from Florida. And poked out of bounds by Stephen Merritt.
Jackets will have a chance to create some separation here. It's been a tight one in the first half.
We've seen 11 lead changes. The largest lead for either team is 4 points. That was by Georgia Tech. And to me, John, I think you're clearly seeing a function of Georgia Tech's lineup right now. They like to play small, even at the Division II level. That size has been impactful in the rebounding column.
Absolutely. And then Georgia Tech on the defensive side of things doing the job defending the three-point line.
Yes.
Panthers 2 of 9 from 3, held to 25 points with 4 minutes to go in the first half. And we're talking about a team that scores 76 points per outing.
And lands Terry high off the glass. He's now got 7 points. Tied for the lead with Jalon Moore. On the Yellow Jacket side, Jalon Russell has 7. Moore, Terry trying to trap and force with a turnover.
Don't sleep on Terry's athleticism. He's solid playing downhill, likes to play fast, very athletic, good bounce. Had the game-winning tip in at the end of the Notre Dame game last week. So he's playing great basketball.
Grant's got to let it go near the end of the clock. Moore thought he had another rebound. It'll belong to Georgia Tech. A 5-point edge for the Yellow Jackets. 3 minutes, 19 seconds left in the first half. 6-0 run for the home team. Been a tight game so far. The Yellow Jackets with the largest lead of the afternoon. John, what has stuck out to you about this first half? Both teams have had the lead for over 7 minutes. We've had 11 lead changes. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, Georgia Tech's been able to manufacture some offense through the turnovers. They have a 10-0 advantage in fast break points, so nothing easy seems to be the theme. Florida Tech's having to earn every basket, whether that's an offensive putback. They've only been to the line 3 times on the one foul on Haupt, which he was 1 of 3. So Georgia Tech's just been solid defensively, holding Panthers 2 of 9 from beyond the arc and just 40% from the floor. And that's been a staple for the Jackets this season is defense.
Florida Tech has not scored in nearly 4 minutes, as Tech's 6-0 run has given them a 5-point edge. Lance Terry works it back around. Coleman penetrating. Too strong. And the rebound seized by Dara O'Sullivan. Sean Haupt, their leading scorer, trying to create nothing. Jalon Russell launches a long 3. Franklin's got the rebound. 1 and done for Florida Tech. They have hit just 2 of their 10 threes and a turnover on the Yellow Jacket end. That's their 4th.
And those are the plays that will drive Coach Pastner nuts. It's just the unforced error. You've got veterans on the floor, a ton of minutes. We're in late February playing basketball here. And you got a chance to stretch the lead to maybe 7 or 8 going into the half, and now could be a 1-possession game if Panthers can convert.
Florida Tech hasn't scored since the 6:50 mark in this first half. And a turnover on the Florida Tech side. And groans from the Panthers bench. Assistants want to take a review at it.
Well, the extended defense by the Jackets, the zone stretching out, great length on the perimeter, active hands, forcing the error by O'Sullivan.
Franklin, good cut from Miles Kelly and a great pass. It's one of the sharper offensive sequences we've seen from Tech today as their lead is up to a game-high 7 points. 8-0 run.
Yeah, the execution on the cut, just really good fundamental basketball, a hard cut. He sold the fake, and then Franklin with a nice two-handed bounce pass in traffic for 2. Outstanding possession for the Jackets. Here you see eye contact. Kelly got the defense to fall asleep, and just a crisp, hard cut to the basket. Very simple basketball, but very effective.
And Javon Franklin, he continues to do it all, John. Entering today, he leads the Jackets over their last 4 in scoring, rebounding, blocking shots, and assists. I mean, he has dominated every column of the box score the last couple of weeks. Jalon Russell Aggressive up and under, trying to find a way. That won't fall. Over 5 minutes without a point for Florida Tech. Yellow Jackets continuing their push to extend the lead, and Lance Terry sinks a 11-0 run for Georgia Tech.
Terry had about 4 or 5 bounces, stretched the D, settled. No one checked him. He said, I got it. Give me 3.
Tech has hit 6 3-pointers in the opening half. Help from the logo. No, Kelly's got the rebound. And that's one big difference in the second half of this first half, if you will. Georgia Tech taking care of business on the defensive glass.
And with 9 missed 3-point field goal attempts, there's some long boards.
Yes.
So Georgia Tech has responded on the defensive backboard.
And another terrific cut as they go high-low from Franklin to Moore. Another assist for Javon. That's his 3rd today. 10 assists on 13 makes for the Yellow Jackets as a team. Final 30 seconds of the first half. Shashawn Russell is fouled going up.
Coleman was there, but he had happy feet, was moving laterally. He kept the verticality with his hands. Hands were over his head, but with the body, picked up the foul. Jackets up 12, 28 seconds remain. Panthers desperately need a bucket to keep this one close.
Florida Tech still looking for their first points since the 6:50 mark. They have missed their last 6 shots, 3 turnovers mixed in there as well. Russell, an 88% free throw shooter, and he hits it. So 6 minutes and 22 seconds without a bucket. And now Georgia Tech, ahead by 11, can hold for the final shot of the first half. And John, offensively, it's been similar to what we saw on Wednesday night. As Coach Passer calls timeout. Georgia Tech hit 8 threes in the first half. I think this is the team Coach Passer thought he was going to have earlier this year. Shooting the ball well, up by 11.
Oh man, that's cool. I'm really liking what you're doing with this overall shape.
She's a little shy right now. She understands she's being painted.
Opening shot. A car comes in to the front.
Oh, Birdie, come on, yes!
Are you golfing?
No! Get back! Yes! I'm good at this.
Look at our officiating crew reviewing Georgia Tech's last 3-pointer about a minute ago. They want to confirm, I believe it was Terry, his foot not on the line. So it'll either be an 11-point or a 10-point lead for Georgia Tech. Your guy, Jerry Heater, John.
He's focused. He's dialed in right there. Look at that. He's going to get it right. Heater, veteran official in the ACC. What do they got, Wiley? Did you hear it?
They confirmed it was a 3.
That's what I had.
One more look at it here. Yep.
Oh, yeah. 4 or 5 inches. That was easy.
Maybe Jerry just wanted to come by and say hello to you. We're right next to the replay monitor. So 18 seconds. Yellow Jackets looking for one more bucket. (13-1) run to close out the final 5 minutes of this first half for Georgia Tech. Terry rejects the ball screen down the lane, lost control of the basketball. And now Florida Tech's got enough time to get down the floor and see if they can get this to single digits.
Yeah, Terry went a little early on that one. Still 3.9 on the clock, so certainly Panthers will get a good look if they can execute.
Because it went out of bounds, they get a chance to inbound it. Shashawn Russell, midcourt, ahead, 3-pointer from the corner, off the backboard and in. They say it counts from John Turgett, just a 21% 3-point shooter. They will review it. Oh, clearly away.
Herget go bank shot from the deep corner. I don't even know how you do that.
No.
He went high off the right.
Was this weekend, and some teams will just not play a game at all. Others want to play, and Josh Pastner has always wanted to play a game in the midst of conference play, and it's kind of hard to find a Division I opponent this time of year, John. Only 2 Division I independents are playing this year, Chicago State and Hartford, so slim pickings. Florida Tech, meanwhile, they had a bye in their conference schedule, and Georgia Tech had to come on up here, and the Panthers begin with the 2-point bucket out of the half. And all of a sudden, after they went scoreless for about 6.5 minutes, they've scored 6 points in the last 90 seconds or so.
And the Yellow Jackets will go on the road to face another good-looking Panther team on Tuesday evening, Wiley, heading up to Pittsburgh.
First place in the ACC, and Jalon Franklin with a loud response to the leads back to 9. We just saw Coach Mims. He wasn't aware that the score, that 3-pointer at the buzzer, was changed to a 2. So he was getting clarification on that. Jackets applying a little pressure here, well beyond the arc and down the right left side of the lane. We've got a foul. It's going to be on Jalon Franklin. That's his first.
Yeah, and that's really where Florida Tech needs to attack, that high post area. You can't really play laterally east to west against this Georgia Tech zone defense. You got to put the ball on the ground, be aggressive, and get into the seams.
Good touch on the free throw from Makai Noble. In his 5th year at Florida Tech from Jacksonville. And he's now got 6 points. Been a pretty free-flowing game so far. Both teams with just 6 free throw attempts. Ooh, a miscommunication, and Jalon Franklin takes off down the runway.
Makai Noble thought he had the switch on that play, and Florida Tech has remained committed to the man-to-man defense. They switch a lot on the perimeter, and just a breakdown in communication on that possession.
A 3-point try off the backside of the rim. In transition, Lance Terry showing off his vertical. And all of a sudden, the Yellow Jackets have pinned their ears back, John.
Yeah, fast break, offense, getting out, 1 pass ahead, playing downhill. Georgia Tech looking good offensively.
And an answer from Sashawn Russell. Now a little turnover there for Florida Tech, and they put together a quick 5-0 run. The lead's down to 6.
And Russell now leads all scorers for the Panthers with 11. He's averaging 19.2 on the season.
Franklin, Sturdivant. Low post entry. Franklin lost it off his feet. And Russell called for the offensive foul. That's his 2nd foul.
So Lance Terry leading the Jackets with 12 points, but getting it done on the defensive side of the ball too, moving the feet, takes the charge. Panthers hanging around, 6-point game, Wiley.
Lead for Georgia Tech has been as large as 12. Sturdivant. Coleman trying to get a step. He finds one. Nice pass to Franklin right in the breadbasket.
Makai Noble quit on the play. Gave up the position to Franklin. Debo with the nice shuffle pass. Franklin, 2 more.
Franklin now with 8.7 rebounds. Haupt trying to complete a 3-point play. And he's going to go to the line. That's the 3rd foul on Terry. 2nd on the team this 2nd half. I mentioned Sean Haupt. His father played at Winthrop, was recruited by Coach Mims. His sister is in her second year at Mercer down in Macon, about an hour and a half south of here. As Haupt hits the free throw. She was the Southern Conference Player of the Year. Pretty good basketball family. You've got their father, Ted, all Big South Conference at Winthrop. Sean, a star at Florida Tech. And now his sister, Erin, one of the top players in the Southern Conference. Start of it.
Haupt an 88% free throw shooter. He hit 33 points at Eckerd early on in February, and in that game was 16 of 19 from the free throw line. I think there was a sibling rivalry in the backyard in that family, dad, sister, and Sean going at it from the free throw line.
Oh, I have no doubt. Haupt is second in the conference in free throw shooting, also on the top 5 in free throws attempted. And before the lay-in, they're going to say Noble's foot was on the baseline, so he steps out of bounds. Jackets hit their last 5 shots. You know something about driveway basketball battles growing up?
Oh, yeah. I had an identical twin brother, Mike, was player of the year in the state of Massachusetts, 95, 96. We had our fair share of one-on-one battles in the backyard, that's for sure.
I don't care who was player of the year in Massachusetts. I want to know who came out less bloodied after a battle in the driveway. You guys never threw elbows. You guys never threw elbows, did you?
He went to UMass, played for John Calipari. He was recruited by Coach Cal. Never played for Cal. Cal went on to coach with the Nets in the NBA. But when I went home from Georgia Tech after battling Matt Harpering every day in practice, I think I got the best of Mike in the backyard battles. I was ready for him.
And a travel. And Makai Noble being told by Coach Mims, I don't think that was his fault. I think Noble's arguing that he lost control of the basketball before he was walking. 8-point lead for Georgia Tech. We'll be back in a minute from McCamish.
I'm glitchy Wi-Fi, which means your smart home isn't so.
We've seen some rim rocking here in the first few minutes of this second half. And John, this is looking like Air Babel out there.
Georgia Tech, I don't know about that. That's generous. Thank you. Had a couple, though.
I have no doubt.
But Panthers, credit the Panthers hanging around. They're taking Georgia Tech's punch. They have a +1 advantage through just under 5 minutes in the first half. So hanging around, veteran team. Credit to Coach Mims and then this team for sticking around. They've got 16 wins on the season, Wiley. They're not going to shake easy.
Ismail Muhammad always listed you as one of his inspirations, so I figured at least had a few.
If I had hops like Ismail Muhammad, I might have played for some money, Wiley. Wasn't that lucky?
No. Miles Kelly's 3 won't fall.
What a fun team that was, though. The 2004-2005 Jackets that went to the national championship.
03-04.
03-04. Lost to UConn in a tough game, but beat Oklahoma State. Legendary coach Eddie Sutton. Final Four was in San Antonio under head coach Paul Hewitt.
That way up there, Kelly saves it. Hard to believe 20th anniversary is coming up next year for that team. Debo Coleman's 3 connecting. Straight cash for Debo Coleman, the 7th 3 of the night for Georgia Tech. And they continue to blast off from 3, John. They've hit over 40% of their threes, 41% in the last 5 games, including today.
What I've really noticed is high-quality shots, too. Inside out, penetration, making the extra pass, the good to great, solid offense.
You know, I think Coach Passer would probably say that they got some similarly quality looks at times this year, and they just did not knock them down. That loss at Louisville comes to mind. And a foul on the floor.
I really like what Coach Passer's done with, finding his top 7 in a rotation, sometimes 8. As a player, when you're getting 25, 26 minutes in a game, you're going to find rhythm. And the 5 guys that are out there are going to get comfortable playing with each other, and you can see that in Tech's basketball the last 5 games.
Well, and philosophically, Coach Passer has always said he likes to play a limited bench. In his 14 years now as a head coach, Lance Terry with 14 points. I think the challenge early on in the season was outside of Miles Kelly, it was just tough to figure out, who was going to produce for you, who could be in those 5 or 6 spots in the main rotation. Foul's going to be on Franklin. It's his second.
It was a big thing when the legendary coach Bobby Cremens, who recruited me, his thing was, if you're in my top 7, he goes, I'm only going to play 7. He showed the stats when he was on the home visit. He'd say, if you come here, you're going to play, you're going to have an opportunity to win. And that was his, point of differentiation, recruiting against the Krzyzewskis and the Dean Smiths. And Bobby had a heck of a career, put 25-plus players in the NBA and 3 ACC titles. But that was his thing. If you come here and play for me, you're going to be my guy. And there was a trust factor built in the recruiting journey.
Coach Mims giving us his thoughts on the officiating tonight. Lance Terry with the lay-in.
Coach Mims was all over it. We're not arguing that. There was a foul on that last possession. He had it.
Saw Florida Tech with 6.5, or beg your pardon, Florida Tech had a 6-minute and 22-second run without a point in the first half, and that ball was saved. Georgia Tech thought that was destined for the bleachers off the air ball bounce, and now a turnover. Terry to Moore! It is a game that's been played from the rafters here in the second half.
You said it all, Wiley. Georgia Tech attacking the rim, sharing the basketball, getting out, filling lanes, solid basketball. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Billy Mims had about a 30-second dialogue with us, and I said, "Hey, Jerry Heater's right across from us. Go talk to Jerry. We can't help you."
He is enjoying it here. Maybe not the officiating, but again, a sentimental trip for him, wearing that gold tie in honor of Bobby Cremens, a guy who gave him his start as a player working the Bobby Cremens layup challenge camps. Jalon Moore is finding a way to connect here. Sean Russell's going to need to hit a few more of those threes. He's already 3 for 6 today to try and get Florida Tech back in this. 14 points is close to the largest deficit that Florida Tech has faced this afternoon.
Coach Mims has had tremendous success in this program. 18 years at Florida Tech, 31 all-conference players. So that's consistency over time, and what a legend.
Yellow Jackets ahead by 14. Another media timeout here in Atlanta.
Giorgio, look.
Debo Coleman has set a new career high with 5 assists. Yellow Jackets, as a team, have 17 assists on 22 makes. Turned the ball over only 8 times. And the real story of the last 15 minutes or so of gameplay dating back to the first half, John, is that Florida Tech has had some pretty serious scoring droughts.
Yes, they have, and credit Georgia Tech's defense. Holding the Panthers 4 of 10 from the floor in the second half, 40% field goal percentage. And Georgia Tech 9 of 12 from the field in the second half, 75% clip, so on fire.
That'll play. Franklin rips away the rebound off the glass. Nearly threw it out of bounds, but left there for Kelly. Yellow Jackets have won 2 of their last 3 games. That'll stick with Georgia Tech. Season high for the Yellow Jackets and ACC play on the scoreboard came on Wednesday. 77 points. We mentioned they scored 70 in the loss to Wake. 70 in the win over Notre Dame. I mean, this offense has been cooking. And Debo Coleman has been especially hot.
Makai Noble had nothing for that. He backed off. Debo kind of just rocked him to sleep and elevated. Triple.
Jackets have now hit 8 3-pointers today. Beg your pardon, 7 3-pointers today. Foul on the floor is going to go against Coleman.
Panthers not letting up, though. Good attack, just didn't have the finish on that play. Again, all over the offensive board. Martin on the backside of the rim, so still playing hard, still hustling. Just shots aren't falling right now.
Well, that's a pretty impressive effort, too. This is a team that, A, is playing a game that doesn't count in the record, although they're playing on the road at an ACC school, whether it counts or not. You got a chance to make a pretty great memory. Shashawn Russell can't get his layup, but they've also lost a couple of heartbreaking games. They dropped one in the final seconds. Last time out, that was against Embry-Riddle. Lost to Palm Beach Atlantic on a buzzer beater before that. Colvin from the logo. A little bit of a heat check.
Can't fault him.
Russell fading away, and he's fouled as Franklin lost his balance. Javon helps him up.
I can't relate, Wiley. I never took a heat check shot. I was never hot. I don't know what that's like.
Don't tell Mike.
Good sportsmanship. Debo helps up Russell. Russell goes to the line. Good free throw shooter. Shooting 87% on the season coming into the game. Knocks it down. Nothing but net. 15-point game. Panthers trying to stick around.
Well, he is the only Panther who has scored in the last 6.5 minutes. They scored just 5 points total. It's those 2 free throws and then the three-pointer he hit a couple minutes back. So 14-point edge for Georgia Tech. Coleman with 8 points. We said a career-high 5 assists. Ooh, that was close to a turnover from Jalon Moore. Coleman draws the foul against Mekhi Noble.
Georgia Tech's done a nice job with their spacing offensively, creating driving lanes, and there you see Debo going off the bounce. But credit, 5 guys working together. Great space, unselfish play. 20 seconds now on the shot clock. Baseline out of bounds situation for the Jackets. Up 14 in command. They're looking to stretch the lead.
Kelly lets it fly from way downtown. Too strong. Good entry down low to Elias Martin. Boy, he was hot to begin the game. So his first points in quite some time. Junior from Green Cove Springs, Florida. Leads the Sunshine State Conference in blocks.
Martin's got great looking size, athleticism, good bounce. Finishes around the basket. Had 13 in his last outing at Embry-Riddle.
30-second timeout called by the Yellow Jackets. Georgia Tech leading Florida Tech by 12, 8:44.
In the town.
We're back.
You ready for an adventure?
The Mandalorian Season 3 streaming March 1st.
Georgia Tech with a 12-point lead, looking for their 3rd win in their last 4 games. This was a 1-point game right around the 7.5-minute mark in the first half, and since then Georgia Tech has tightened up defensively. They've given up just 22 points since then. And Tech will inbounds into Jalon Moore. They've slowed down offensively the last couple of minutes. Lance Terry building up steam, and his shot blocked by Martin. We mentioned he leads all of the Sunshine State Conference in blocks. Good job of protecting the rim there.
It was a nice design play. Terry was coming off the screen. Had the dribble driving lane, but nice defensive effort.
Moore with his back to the basket, fires it high. Franklin, he has his shot rejected, but stuck with it and lays it in. Martin was down to a squat.
And with that offensive rebound, now a double-double in the books. His 6th double-double on the season.
3rd straight. Offensive rebound perhaps for Florida Tech, yes. And the finish from Mekhi Noble. Terry finds a sliver and he lays it in.
Little hang time for Mr. Terry. Took the contact, give the kiss on the way down. Terry leading all scorers with 16. Jackets up by 14. Just under 8 to play. Second half action. We'll be back.
Georgia Tech, a 14-point lead, taking on Division II Florida Tech. Yellow Jackets have got some balanced output offensively. Lance Terry, 16 points, leads the team. Jalon Moore with 13. That's his first double-digit game since January 21st against Syracuse. Javon Franklin with 12 points, 11 rebounds, also 4 assists, 1 shy of a career high. And Terry completes the 3-point play.
That, believe it or not, is Georgia Tech's first free throw attempt in the second half. They haven't needed to. They've been on fire from deep or at the rim.
Skip pass. Konstantinos Lagos 3 off the mark. Franklin the board. Played back to Kelly. Catch in, shoot on the trail. No. Jalon Moore, an offensive rebound. Terry, spin, hook. Franklin on the offensive glass, and he will go to the line.
Really love Terry's aggressive play right now, probing the defense, getting in the seams. He's breaking down the defense for the Panthers. Franklin was the beneficiary of that. Attacking the glass.
Can't say enough about what he's meant to this team these last few games. I mean, you saw it before that streak-snapping win against Notre Dame, against the likes of Louisville and NC State. He played at an extremely high level despite the losses. He stands 6'7", 214 pounds. It's his 6th year of college basketball. He had 1 redshirt season that got the extra year also because of COVID. He's been at Auburn, junior college, South Alabama. And this will be the final run of his college career. He's out of eligibility. But he's been a special player for the Yellow Jackets as he wraps up his time in the NCAA in basketball.
He gets the most out of his ability. I mean, look at the game he's having. 13 rebounds to go with his 13 points, 4 assists. He's only got 1 turnover. He's in great condition. He's played 29 minutes in this one. And knows his role, the value of knowing your role.
That hook shot won't fall for him. By the way, Mekhi Noble fouled out with that foul before the breaks. His day is done for Florida Tech. We're going to get Kyle Sturdivant there disrupting the shot on Russell. It's his first.
Georgia Tech with the 16-point lead, holding their largest lead in the game right now. Florida Tech kept it close for a while. Georgia Tech's trying to put them away. 6:32 remaining. See if Russell can change that.
We had 11 lead changes in this one, but they all came before the 6-minute mark of the first half. It was real back and forth early. So Florida Tech, who was shooting 50% from the field, they hit 7 of their first 14 shots. They've hit just 11 of 36 since. That's 31%. Good movement from the Jackets beyond the arc. Baseline cut for Moore, lost the handle. And good hands down low. I think that was Niall Harris. The layup is good for John Turgett. sophomore from Istanbul. Under 6 to play. And Kelly with the teardrop.
Target was a little bit slow, stepping up. Too easy.
Kelly now the 4th Yellow Jacket in double figures. There are 5 Tech players averaging 10 points or more in the last 4 games. Behind the back feed, Moore couldn't handle it from Sturdivant. I don't know if that might have caught Jalon by surprise there. It was a nifty pass. That will stick with Georgia Tech.
Martin did a nice job defensively coming over to help. Franklin was spinning, thought he had the covered bear there for the dunk, but good defensive effort by Martin. Jackets will have a baseline out of bounds situation. 21 on the shot clock, 5:26 on the game clock.
Terry swatted the first time on the other end of the rim. He lays it in.
Terry padding those stats now. 19 points, 4 rebounds.
That second chance point discrepancy, which was so large to start the game, it's tightened up. 5 to play in the second half. Haupt step back. Franklin seals him off. Russell had the pass come out funky, and that's going to be an intentional foul on Russell as he tried to grab Miles Kelly's jersey. So 2 free throws and the basketball coming for the Yellow Jackets.
Georgia Tech up 17 now. You feel like this one's in the bag, Wiley? They got it? Total control right now.
Yeah, it feels pretty good here. Kelly going to get a couple of free throws. It's his first attempts from the line. If you're Georgia Tech, you're most encouraged by the way you shot the ball and the way your defense locked down after the opening 15 minutes.
Absolutely. In a game where the Panthers kind of won every 50-50 ball in the first 10 minutes through the first punch, Yellow Jackets settled in and have been consistent for about 25 minutes in this one and just dominant. And stylistically, the Panthers playing man-to-man in the half court, really picking up at the three-point line. And you don't feel like they really have anything to bring to the Jackets to get the game pace going in their favor.
Yeah, it was up and down those first 10 minutes as Coleman tried to go up at the end of the shot clock. And a big block that time from Elias Martin. Like we said, he's one of the tops in Division II basketball in blocking shots. I think we'll know when Coach Passner thinks that this game is well in hand when we start seeing a few more subs off the bench.
I agree with that. With the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, statistics are on their side. When they crack 70 points, they are 8-2, so they're looking to make it 9-2 on the season when scoring 70 points in the game.
And most importantly, they've now hit the 70-point mark in 4 straight. Sturdivant catch and shoot 3, and he swirls it home. He's now got 8 points.
And you mentioned earlier 77 was the season high
in an ACC game.
In an ACC game.
Yes. Kick out. And a foul on the floor. Sturdivant and Russell were going at it. This is going to be our immediate timeout. Russell will go to the line for a 1-and-1 when we come back. Georgia Tech in control, looking for a 3rd straight home win.
That rocking chair would look great.
Georgia Tech in control as we get ready to close this one out. Final 3 minutes and 44 seconds. Sean Russell shoot 1-and-1. A couple of changes for Georgia Tech. Fred Paul Bagatskis and Jordan Mecca return. There's some of those subs we were talking about. And the front end is no good. Moore's got the rebound. Georgia Tech will hit the road Tuesday night, taking on first place Pittsburgh. It'll be a tough assignment, and then the final home game of the season is a week from today against Louisville. Moore a 3-pointer. That'll That'll be something he wants to work on in the offseason, I'm sure, John. He's taken a lot of threes, but has not hit many this year. Just 4 for 31 now on the season. By the way, Pittsburgh taking on Virginia Tech this afternoon at 5 o'clock. Easy floater that time from John Target. Or beg your pardon, Sean Haupt.
Haupt now in double figures. Just 3 of 10 from the floor today. 1 of 6 has struggled from beyond the arc. Credit Georgia Tech's perimeter defense. Haupt coming in as leading scorer. Georgia Tech answered the bell on assignment defense.
He had 21 points the last time out. Tough angle. Moore, the offensive rebound and stick back. Jalon Moore. This is the form we saw him against NC State back when the Wolfpack came here in mid-January. Also Syracuse. He'd be a nice addition to the offense to get going for the final 4 games of the year for Georgia Tech.
Moore has 6 rebounds to go with his 15 points. He's 6 of 11 from the field. Again, you mentioned it. He hasn't shot the ball well from beyond the arc, 0 of 2, but this is where he's strong. Hitting the boards, finishing around the basket, using his size, strength, and athleticism.
Most points he's scored since that NC State game here in Atlanta over a month ago. And a foul on the screen is going to be charged to Moore. Meanwhile, for Florida Tech, they've got 2 games left. First of which is going to be against last place Lynn University Wednesday night in Melbourne, Florida. And they got a lot to be proud of this season as well. They won their most games since 2017 or 15. First winning season period they'll have. Playing that time from Niall Harris.
Like Miles Kelly fell asleep defensively on that possession.
Is that time in the afternoon, I guess, right? 20-point lead for Georgia Tech. Final minute and a half. Fred Paul Bagatskas.
I don't think Josh Pastner will buy that in the film session.
I don't think he will either. Fred Paul Bagatskas hits the 3, and now a ton of substitutions. Kirill Martinov in for Georgia Tech. Florida Tech is going to get a whole new 5 out there.
Nice looking triple. Shoulder square. Nice high release. Good looking prospect.
And now Coleman Boyd getting the chance to check in for Georgia Tech. And Coleman, a senior this year, this could potentially be his final minutes on the floor. Opportunity for him. Again, the new players for Florida Tech. You got Akeem Agee with the basketball in his hands. He deals it off to Donovan Murphy. Also a 3-pointer from Dara O'Sullivan. And we're also getting our first look at George Nima, as well as Theo Klimanoglu. And Braden Daniels as well checking in. And Florida Tech wants a timeout. Braden Daniels also in for the Yellow Jackets. And John, the way this team has played, the Yellow Jackets that is, over the last 5 games now, you look at the remaining schedule in the ACC. Look, we all know Georgia Tech, they're not going to get any buys in the ACC tournament. They are 3-13 in the league, but you got 4 more conference games left, 3 on the road. You mentioned Pittsburgh and Louisville. Then after that, you got Syracuse and Boston College. I mean, Pittsburgh will be a tough assignment, no doubt, but you got to feel like the way this team is playing, they have a chance to, win a couple road games.
Absolutely, and it's one day at a time. You focus on the controllable things, focus on what you can control. Show up day to day, work hard. Team is obviously buying in with chemistry, sharing the basketball. We saw it today again. Defense has remained consistent, holding the Panthers to 38% from the field, 19% from three-point land. If you defend and rebound the basketball, and the shooting has been coming along, the Georgia Tech team that has struggled mightily shooting the basketball, just 41% from the field on the season, but Through the last 5 or 6 games, Wally, you said it. They're playing better. They're clicking offensively, and they've found the right mix.
And points per possession is a number you hear a lot in the NBA and across more analytically centered basketball circles. As Jermonte Hill is in the game for Georgia Tech, but the Yellow Jackets have hit 100 points per 100 possessions in 3 straight games, and I would guess they're right around that mark here today. I won't know officially until afterwards. It's the 3-pointer from Daniels way off the mark. And Florida Tech could be their final possession of the afternoon.
Daniels got a little excited. We might have to check that backboard and make sure it's ready for next week against the Cards. Look like some shots I used to throw up in practice here.
To be fair, he did see that shot at the end of the first half fall for. It was Elias Martin, I think, who hit that long two.
Hey, no disrespect to Daniels. That's tough. Sitting on the bench for 39 minutes and then just come in and first touch, get a 3 up. It's not easy.
That's why I always missed my shots. Second free throw coming from Akeem G out of New York. It's the second. Georgia Tech can bring it across the timeline. They can dribble it out the rest of the way if they choose. Daniels lets the jumper fly, trying to redeem himself there, an air ball. 3-pointer, that's an air ball. And perhaps it's about time to call it a day. Hill dunks it home. Jermonte Hill with a big finish to close it out. And your final score, Georgia Tech 79, Florida Tech 56. Babel, the Yellow Jackets picked up right where they left off on Wednesday, and they sleep the week of Tech, if you will, taking down Virginia Tech Wednesday and Florida Tech today.
Yeah, Yellow Jackets do what they have to do. They take care of home and build on momentum. Consecutive wins as they go on the road and face the Pittsburgh Panthers, number